High TV Cameroon welcome pupils from Revival Primary School, Boya, as part of the institution holiday extracurricular program, as it was a moment for the ever-curious pupils to meet and exchange ideas on several issues regarding the practice of journalism and mass communication here in high television. Also, members of a family are without a house following the inferno that took place in Bokwango, a locality in the Boya subdivision. That incident happened last Tuesday. Those were major stories. Good evening to you all. This is High Prime of Thursday, the 11th of July 2024. For presentation, I am attending Larry Kevin Sabot. We start off with one of our lead stories, as we did mention earlier on. A town or an area in Boya known as Bokwango saw wild flames last Tuesday as the residence of a family was razed to nothing. This, according to eyewitnesses, couldn't account for the cost of the said inferno that ravaged the plank building that is hosting an entire family. Though they managed to put off the flame, but material damages were quite enormous, as Rita Mafani Mujoko has more.
The fire incident, which panned out in Bokwango Tuesday, July 9, 2024, came as a shock to many inhabitants, as a plank building known to be a family residence to an entire family was completely razed down by white flames.
Now a Carabot house, but a family house where the partitioner and room, grandpicking then, grandmammy then they so now so. The thing happened, but we don't actually know the cause of the fire, so we actually start the fire. Yes.
The exact cause of the inferno is yet to be established, but according to eyewitnesses, it emanates from the backyard of the said structure.
We say fire, where you make no say na person will backside because the fire come up back. Because a big compound, they get 2 kitchens them. The fire come on up back that side. So the call we say fire, where the struggle will fight and will begin to make the choma take good fast. So he run now, the call we say fire, we run now. First we go city, we go carry na picking because you come up born. Go carry picking and bring our outside now. Therefore, we realize the fire reason level will not be chakada backside. We just need to just broke at the side way the metal house they may not spread for neighbor side. So we now broke that metal now. Move the small mountain that we be identified now we sell it for you. So that will succeed move them. But it's also other apartment for upside autumn born. They don't move down nothing. If it's telling the shop we sell broke and so go move small mountain there. They don't move no money, nothing. The only small mountain away. Most of this thing they come up with.
Being the Bokwango market day, the building occupants were busy with buying and selling at the market when the tragedy occurred.
I've been neighbor for the people the way their house burned. So once she done for Kati, we just discover say fire don't start catch for inside one of the room there, inside the house. So well, population come struggle, move small thing they move but money thing they plenty thing they lost. Yes, plenty thing they lost. We don't actually know the cause of the fire. We don't actually know the cause, but people thing they lost inside the house.
With signs of helplessness and regrets as seen on the faces of the occupants, the victims of the sad incident are helpless and looking forward for assistance from persons of goodwill, as the white flames ravage most of their properties, despite the population on board who tried to stop the flame, as the firefighting brigade couldn't make it on time.
And we join our voices to that of the victim, that may persons of goodwill assist them in this trying moment. We now take you to Kumba, where the phenomenon of Keep Kumba Clean, that is slated for every first Thursday of the month, is initiated towards making sure the town of Kumba is kept clean across all ramifications. These many inhabitants of Kumba takes delight in making sure that they keep the town of Kumba clean, as they say cleanliness is next to godliness. Our Kumba-based reporter Roland in Inquiry tells us more.
Being the first Thursday of the month in Kumba, dubbed Keep Kumba Clean Up Day, some denizens are crying foul for refuse that are littered around their business premises. Talking to some of them, they express their worries and call on the company that be to come to their aid.
So for you now, Kumba clean or Kumba not clean down?
No, Kumba clean. Yes, why other Kumba clean? And if
One of the hygiene and sanitation workers that were spotted evacuating dirt have this to say.
No, those are death and running matter. They are not good for human health. So we just say we should pin them and then call for them. So they can come and remove all these things and let people breathe normal air because we're not breathing well. I can see. I'm wearing cash net. I don't have corona, but the place is not conducive to breathe, so I need to prevent myself.
It should be noted, some major areas in the city of Kumba have become a steady dumping ground for refuse.
From the town of Kumba, we now take you to the city of Douala, the economic hub of the country, in Cameroon, where it was revealed a sum of 7 billion CFA francs was lost in 2021, while more than 12.2 billion CFA francs were dashed out to cyber criminality in the nation of Cameroon. These figures were revealed yesterday during the 15th edition of the African European Cyberology conference that took place in Douala, as it was championed by Cameroon National Agency for Information and Communication Technology, that is ANTIC, as the institution general manager, Professor Eborebot Eno, elucidates. We have complete of that story in the upcoming paper. Internet frauds in Cameroon, just like most parts in the world, has been described as one of the most dangerous online activities in the nation. As such, the country's Agency for Information and Communication Technology, known for short as ANTIC, indicates Cameroon lost 7 billion CFA francs to scamming and more than 12.2 billion CFA francs to cyber crimes in 2021. Across the world, the loss is quite incredible.
Cryptology is what has brought us here today, and cryptology is the science of secured communication. That is, interactions between people need to be secured. Take for example, your WhatsApp communications are secured end-to-end thanks to cryptology. And cryptology has two components, cryptography and cryptanalysis. Cryptology is the science of the process of encrypting data, rendering it unintelligible, so that even if an eavesdropper intercepts the data, he can't make any use of the data, and it prevents unauthorized access to information. While cryptanalysis seeks to analyze the algorithms used in encrypting the data to find false loopholes in those algorithms in a bid to decrypt this data and gain unauthorized access to the data.
In recent times, a new threat that has emanated, known as the ransomware, as it is an outrageous software that threatens to publish or block access to internet by inscripting it until the victim pays the ransom to the operator.
Opening speech of the Director General of ANTIC, the loss that we have, the figures are very high. It means that the threats are serious, so there is a dire need to secure our communications. Absolutely.
With the aforementioned points highlighted, the 15th International Conference on Cyberology Africa CRIP 2024 is taking place in the city of Douala.
It is incumbent on us as researchers and practitioners of cybersecurity to develop our own solution, and this can only happen through research. which has brought us here today.
The experts attending the cryptology conference say the damage is quite colossal. With research being key, these specialists in the data examination of cryptology and the process of conservation of data will be having a fixed point in order to better preserve data and curb on cyber criminality. Fascinating reporting there by the cryptology conference that is still ongoing in the city of Douala. We now talk something else, where a two-page document has justified the price hike of the procurement of national identity cards. The set document that was made known to Cameroonians reiterates the fiscal stamp on the national identity cards to be obtained costs 10,000 francs as initiated by the executive arm of government instead of 15,000 francs that some unscrupulous Cameroonians are highlighting, and this move will go operational as from next year. Aisha Mbeng is our lady on the story.
The Directorate General of Taxation said Cameroonians will pay the sum of 10,000 francs CFA for obtaining their national identity card instead of 15,000 francs CFA and more, as has been earlier circulating. Further, in a two-page document to justify the price hike, the Taxation Head Office said the context and motivation is to give Cameroonians quality ID cards by fighting identity fraud and avoiding altercations at police stations. It is worth noting that the fact document revealed that for transparency reasons, the stamp price increased from 1,000 francs CFA to 10,000 francs CFA will be paid exclusively through the electronic means. The 10,000 francs CFA includes all other charges linked to the production process, like the nationality certificate, copy of birth certificate, non-conviction certificate, and photography. This unique sum is paid online to avoid fraud and extortion. It was also revealed that 90% of the amount will be paid to the partner in charge of production. The partner on his part will have as responsibility to construct and equip 3 multipurpose centers, 7 regional centers, and 58 divisional centers for enrollment. Nevertheless, the partner will also have to renovate 219 already existing identification units, put in place a performant communication platform, construct a national database and a help desk, put in place 1,000 enrollment units and 1,000 mobile authentication terminals, and install electrical energy supply alternatives in all identification posts. Notably, the new ID cards, according to the tax department, will be forgery-proof, robust, and long-lasting with 15 years validity. Among some of the advantages to the population, the taxation department assures that the new ID cards will be issued in 48 hours.
Aisha Mbeng reporting there. And we move on to one of our latest stories. As we did mention earlier on, 36 pupils from the Revival Nursery and Primary School in Buea has visited the office premises of High TV Cameroon. This is part of their holiday extracurricular activity as they pick interest in the journalism profession. Some of them pick interest in the journalism profession as they came to the office space of High Television in order to seek an exchange on ideas so as to be a better journalist in the future. This caught our newsroom reporter Adeline Ayenfo Akumene, who now tells us more.
At a time when the STEM curriculum that integrates science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is considered ideal to develop problem-solving skills in learners and prepare them for the career and professional field, the administration of Revival Bilingual Nursery and Primary School Buea has carried out an excursion for its pupils at High TV Cameroon. This exercise aims to expose the young learners to insight on TV program realization and motivate them towards career path.
What triggered this excursion visit is we thought of holiday class, that we don't just want to have a classroom holiday class. We wanted to have something that the children will experience what they're learning in school out of class. We wanted them to have that experience. We want to take them out. We don't just want a classroom. It's something that we want to introduce in our school as the year is coming. And the children will not just be in class, at least they'll have a time or a day that will go out and see what they're learning in school.
Received by High TV staff, the 36 pupils aged 2 to 12 navigated the modern studio, control room, editing suite that introduced them to the station's diverse programming live. As the tour progressed, the pupils engaged in lively discussions with High TV's on-air personalities, learning the mystery of TV production from concept to completion, which left a lasting impression in them.
We have learned so many things. There are journalists here, there are so many things who have computers, who have mics, who have so many things like TVs. So we have learned so many things. We need to learn where we come. So there are some people who said they want to be a journalist. So to be a journalist is not an easy job. You need to learn, you need to go to school, you need to work hard. And to be a journalist, you need to come to a High TV station. You learn most of the things they are doing there.
Want to be a journalist, you need to start from primary school. Take your studies hard and seriously, so you can become a journalist.
The excursion, characterized by songs, rhymes, is part of the school's holiday activities, ranging from classroom work to physical contact with the work world. From High TV Cameroon, the pupils, with a renewed sense of academic consciousness, will move to the monument in Buea in the weeks ahead.
To our viewers in Cameroon and around the world, you are watching High Prime. We now move on to news from the Northwest region, where a delegation of the Northwest Regional Chapter of the Cameroon National Youth Council has paid a courtesy visit to a rehabilitation center in the town of Bamenda to visit young persons who are recovering from drug addiction. According to the president of the Cameroon National Youth Council for the Northwest Chapter, who says it is a way in order to encourage youths who have now taken pleasure in drug consumption, destroying their future. As they say, they want to change the tides. They promise to assist, or there has been assisting persons who leave that center, rehabilitation center, with income generating activity and employment, so in order to get them busy. Our reporter on that story is Daniel Komi Boa.
Hard drugs consumption that is now recurrent in today's society has caused a delegation of the Northwest Chapter of the Cameroon National Youth Council, led by its president, to visit one of the drug rehabilitation centers in the country.
So we're so amazed, we're so happy that seeing the inmates here. When we had a walking session with them, we discovered that there are fine brains we have in this country. There are people who can speak sense, there are people who speak and you see the reality of life in them. So we said, no, it is good, let us come and have this meeting with them so that we know actually their difficulties they are facing, we know what brought them into this center, we know the challenges they are facing, so that we can see how we can accompany them. Believe me, if you talk with these guys who are in this center, you will know that you've not yet met people who are leaders. All of them in this center, they are great leaders with a lot of dynamism.
The different youngsters whom had to resort to drugs due to the persistent rate of the unending conflict rocking the Anglophone region.
Incidences of drug consumption is increasing due to this socio-political crisis, and we know of course that young people are at the peak of life, where they want to experiment the world, they want to be upbeat, they want to see their result, and when they are stifled by the condition of the circumstances we have in the Northwest and Southwest region, as we do experience every day, they are bound to be very stressful. Okay, and most of the stress now they try to release the stress through the drugs, and that's why we are saying here that we develop activities in Living Vine here that has to do with sport that can relieve them from stress, doing activities of daily living, doing clinical therapy.
Some of the survivors who had recovered from the assistance and recovery gotten from the rehabilitation centers highlights their life journey. I got
into drugs when my parents fell apart, so I got friends. I had to run away from home, even change my hometown. I went to Kumba. I was in Kumba on the streets for 10 years. I was into drugs. I was into Kayu, Thailand. So my classmates, the diasporas abroad, one of them met me on the street a certain day, and she called me and asked me what made me to go to the street. I had no answers because I was not on myself. So they went and teamed up. They brought me here. Last year I was unaware So when I came here, they had to talk to me. But the most essential thing now is I've bounced back to my feet. I went back to school last year. I made it. I decided to go into nursing, to do special care nursing.
The CNYC Northwest Chapter President, on his part, enumerates on his institution assistance to survivors whenever they are out.
I've already selected some young people in this center to support them immediately they are out of this center. Like the person who gave us a good business plan to start a farming activity, agriculture, which is what our head of state has been preaching all over. We are going to make sure we fund his project. And the other young person who wanted to start barbing salon, we are going to make sure we are going to fund his project immediately he's out of this center. And other young people who have come up with their various projects, we are going to accompany them to make sure that they become responsible in the society.
The team of CNYC, while exiting the Living Vine Medical Rehabilitation Center in Bamenda, insists they will continue shining the light.
Daniel Ikomimbua reporting there all the way from Bamenda. We now move on to the National Assembly. As we did mention earlier for the headlines, the executive arm of government in Cameroon has tabled a bill for the extension of mandates of members of the National Assembly and municipal councillors. This bill that was voted overwhelmingly by the obese majority of the ruling CPDM political party in Yaoundé has been described by many as a way calculated way in order to dissuade the electoral calendar in the country, as this was conducted by the House Speaker, Honorable Kavayege Jibril. Aisha Mbang has more.
The lower house of parliament have approved a government-table bill to extend the mandates of members of parliament and municipal councillors by 1 year. The decision was made during a plenary session chaired by House Speaker Kavayege Jibril, with the bill being defended by Wakata Bolvin, the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of relations with the assemblies. Furthermore, the approved bill extends the mandates of legislatures from March 10, 2025 to March 30, 2026, effectively postponing the legislative and municipal elections scheduled for February next year. To be noted, this was initially submitted by the presidency, with the government justifying the extension during a cabinet meeting, citing budget constraints as the primary reason. Additionally, lawmakers from His Excellency President Paul Biya's Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM, who hold the majority in the National Assembly, voted in favor of the bill extending their term by 1 year until March 2026. Thus, legislative and municipal elections will take place after the 2025 presidential poll.
And on to our foreign news dossier for tonight. We take you to the southern African nation of Zimbabwe, when an alarming rate of malnutrition in Zimbabwe has been raised by the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF. This as famine that has made a lot of foodstuff to get spoiled in the farms due to the famine that is unfolding in the southern African nation of Zimbabwe. In a statement signed by the UNICEF Zimbabwe Director Eve Wellington, who highlighted on the pressing need for children and adults to get adequate food supply, as Daniel Komembua tells us more.
This year, 2024, Zimbabwe allocated a sum of $7.6 million to support 7,300 people with disabilities within the country. Due to the natural disaster occurrence, the number of vulnerable individuals seeking social protection assistance is expected to rise in an increase of $1.5 million to provide basic services. In May 2024, President Emmerson Mnangagwa declared a state of disaster, citing the need for $2 billion to address the drought crisis. Zimbabwe, alongside Malawi and Zambia, are severely affected by malnutrition caused by drought. The situation has pushed villagers to walk long distances to search for odd jobs, earning little amount to buy food and sustain their families. The UNICEF representative to Zambia emphasized the severe impact on children and pregnant women, highlighting the urgent need for international support to address the worsening situation.
And with that foreign news item done for us by Daniel Komimbua all the way from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa, this is what concludes tonight's news package. High Prime of Thursday, July 11, 2024. Do not move a muscle as Uncle Disman will be here with the news in the pidgin language. That will be coming up at exactly 9 p.m. For me and the entire news crew, we shall be back tomorrow, God willing, same hour, same frequency. Good night.